Good evening and welcome to the CDR Tier 1 Round 6. Takes us to Albert Park in Melbourne, Australia. Tom Canton, the commentary box, giving you the details for today's action. We'll start with qualifying 1, where at the moment, with there being only 19 drivers involved, we'll lose the slowest 4 at the end of this session. Then we go on to Q2, and we'll lose the next slowest 5. And then the top 10 go through to Q3 to battle it out for pole position. Then it'll be a 29-lap race to see who will come out on top. Now, there are a few reserves being called in for this evening. Last week's winner in Portugal, Colin, who won out convincingly in the Mercedes, is not around this evening, believe it or not. So his place is going to be filled by what I believe will be Simps. But I'll have to double check on that. Big Boy in the Haas is not around this evening. He is replaced by Dark Inferno, who will be making his first appearance. So yes, Simps is in the Mercedes. Dark Inferno in the Haas. Session is about to begin now. So we wait for the start of the session. And here we are. So we've got 19 in for tonight. Who will make it through to Q2, I wonder? Just waiting for some cars to make their way out onto the racetrack. In terms of what happened last week, as I've already mentioned, Colin won, Albie was second in the Alfa Romeo, and then Martin coming home third in the other Alfa Romeo. Then Don Rebico was fourth, the highest of the championship contenders, but dropped us only 11th for Ferrari. Just seen his championship gap cut down to 13 points. And Martin's podium has moved him up to third, 1 point ahead of Calvin, who wasn't around last week, but is in the Red Bull this evening. So that sounds like someone is heading out on circuit. It's one of the Alfa Romeo. By the sounds of things, is out on track now. I'm just hoping we do pick him up. There he is, look. We've got him on the onboard. And so we're not quite seeing the relevant camera angle. At the moment we've just got the onboard and then the view of the pit garages. Here we go, look, Martin finally got a decent camera angle of which we can watch him from. So he makes his way towards turn 6. Now of course this is the previous layout of the Albert Park track. Is under reconstruction as well, hence why it's not quite in the game yet, but of course will be in the next game cycle in 2022. Of course, Formula 1 has not raced in Melbourne since 2019. It is set to host the third round of this year's championship on April the 10th. Of course, we are hoping for an announcement probably at the end of this month, if not at the beginning of the next, to see whether it will be going ahead as scheduled. So Martin on the medium compound, beginning his first time lap. As he makes his way through this back straight. There are 3 DRS zones on this Albert Park track. One on the pit straight, one in between turns 2 and 3, and the other in between turns 12 and 13. Martin having no such issues so far on this lap. You have to lift off the throttle ever so slightly by going over the inside curve of turn 5. Nicely done through 6. And then through turn 8, no problem. And in case you're wondering, the yellow flags, that will be someone just backing off the pace just to stay out of the way of drivers who could be on flying laps. Martin just about keeping his car within the track limits on the exit of turn 12. And here he comes into 13. It was very nearly an invalidated lap there for Martin. But he's got through there fine. And now he's coming round onto the pit straight. The DRS should be open, which it is now. It's a 124.4 for Martin. So just look to see who else is on a flying lap. Jai who is, but I'm just looking to see if Flix is on a fast lap. He was. Oh, he's going to go. Oh, he's coming together. He's come together with another car. I think he came together with Jaihu. Jaihu will be very, very livid with him for that. He's got front wing damage, and I think there'll be a steward's inquiry after it. And Flix came back onto the circuit in a dangerous manner by going through the gravel trap. That contact was definitely avoidable from how I saw it. So Flix will be back in the pits for a new front wing, as will Jaihu. Droftus, meanwhile, is coming around to complete his first time lap. Sims goes top with a 122.3. Droftus will beat that with a 121.9. So Droftus the first into the 1 minute 21s. There is Noodles, who is in with now got a full grid for this evening. Just looking to see who wasn't in to begin with. I think Aidan Gray's now in the Aston Martin. He is in place of, just looking to see who's in place of, he's in place of Dean for tonight. So we've got a full grid for this evening. Bruges, third fastest on a 122. To Calvin, who's just joined in the live chat whilst he prepares to go out for his first run in this qualifying session. Dan goes fifth, we're on 23.7. And Red Dog is coming through in the Williams. He's coming into the last turn now. It's going to be a 123.3 for Red Dog. He'll be one of the favourites to be knocked out, I would reckon. And it looks as though Flix is retired from the session, which means he won't be going back out again, but I doubt that the stewards will leave that incident alone. Drivers are on super license points, of course, for the season. Now Albie, second place last week in Portimao. Fastest by a tenth of a second over Droftus, so he's put in some good pace at the present moment. Albie, meanwhile, exiting turn 16. He's about to go over the line. It's going to be a 122.6 by the looks of it. He goes sixth fastest. And Rabico in the McLaren is on circuit on the mediums. I expect him to get through as well, just about keeping his car within the track limits whilst he's at it. Got just over 10 minutes to go, so plenty of time for drivers to head out on circuit and get some fast times in. Rabico coming into sector 2. It's a 49.7. There is a couple of cars ahead of him that might need to move out of the way here. So Rabico next in turn 14, just 2 more corners to get through before he heads down that start-finish straight. Rear wing open. It's a 123.0, which is not the quickest of all times, but Rabico will feel they may have just done enough to get through. Jaihu on circuit with a new front wing on. I think Calvin's coming around to complete a lap in the Red Bull. That's a kick of wheel spin on the exit of the penultimate turn. And it's that for Calvin. 1 minute 23.3, only good enough for 11th fastest. And Jaihu will be making his way round it. We expect him to be in the 1 minute 22s on the soft compound. Jaihu's had a decent season so far. He didn't have a good couple of races recently, but the form before that, where he had a second and 2 fifth places. The 5th places coming in Zandvoort and Shanghai, and the 2nd place finish coming in Hungary. He's posted a 1:22.6, enough to put him in 6th place. And then I go to the next driver which we're picking up. That's Rabico, who's just ducked into the pits. And Jay Hartnell's on his outlap, so we'll be going to complete that. And there's Albie, who we believe, is he on a fast lap? I think he may well be. Apologies for any of the glitches which you are seeing at the moment. Albie is coming round to improve his lap time, which he does so by a quarter of a second. He goes up to 5th with that lap. Droftus, meanwhile, is on circuit. Is that a new set or is that an old set? It's an old set for Droftus in the Ferrari with a 48.7, 4 tenths faster than we posted previously. Well, you may as well forget that lap because he's exceeded track limits at turn 11. There's Hamster going quicker than before. 6 tenths up by set to 2. He's had a dismal run of form as Hamster, 3 non-finishes in a row, exceeds track limits at turn 13. He'll have to go again if he wants to improve. He's now in the drop zone. Noodles yet to post a lap time until now. 1 minute 22.3, goes 4th in front of his teammate for tonight, Simps. Jay Hartnell in the McLaren. Tenth last week in Portugal, 9th the week before at Silverstone. I say 9th the week before at Silverstone. It was before Christmas where he got that 9th place finish. Goes 11th with a 1:22.9. That might not be enough, you know. Hamster's exceeded track limits again on this lap. Oh, he's into the barrier there. Oh, he's damaged the front wing there. That could have so easily been the end of his session. And Dan in the drop zone now in 16th place. He's on the soft compound though on this lap. So this is an important one for him to get through. You want to be aiming for the 48 by set to 2. He's not quite in that realm. 49.4 by set to 2. 6 tenths up, so I think he's only going to be on course for a high 1 minute 22 at most. And there's Hamster just staying out of the way as he enters the pits. Dan not getting the best turn into the last turn. 1:22.6 goes 9th for Ferrari. Red Dog, meanwhile, is on a lap in the Williams. 1 minute 23.3. He's down by set to 2 from before. Martin on a lap in the Alfa Romeo. So the bottom 5, we've got Calvin, Martin, Hamster, Flicks and Harry. And Red Dog enters the penultimate corner. He's hoping to improve on this lap from what he posted beforehand. It was a 1:23.3 that he posted earlier on. This lap of his is a 10 faster. He's got himself out of the bottom 5 but only just. Calvin in the Red Bull. Keeps his car on track. Martin nearly 4 tenths up by sector 2. Only 4 tenths up by the stage. There are a sequence of corners which he needs to get through before the lap is over, so he'll be looking to find some more time. And Hartnell has crashed out on circuit, and with that, his session is over. So even he was to get through as one of the drivers in the top 15, he will not participate anymore in qualifying. He's out. Martin goes 12th for 122.9. That pushes Hartnell further down the order, so we could be losing 6 drivers at the end of Q1. Calvin is hoping to not be one of those. 17th on a 123.3. He's on the medium compound, is Calvin, but he's ducking into the pits to get a set of the soft compound on, I would imagine. Red Dog, I would say, is going to be doing the same. Yeah, he's into the pits now. There is Rabico, currently 16th. It would be a shock if he was to be knocked out at this stage. He's on the soft compound there. His time he set earlier on was on the medium, so I would imagine he's going to be improving quite significantly. And it's a 121.5, goes top by quite some margin. So that pushes Aidan Gray into the drop zone. He's just come out on circuit on a set of softs, so he's got one shot at it. Hamster begins a fast lap now. He's 19th on a 124.5. So it's now or never for him. Harry's got himself out of the drop zone in 14th. Well, technically 15th because Hartnell's time was faster than his, but Harry can most certainly improve on what he's posted and get in front of him. Well, Hamster is nearly 6 tenths up by sector 1. What can he do in sector 2? There is a McLaren ahead of him, that's Rabico, who won't need to worry about too much. He is quite a bit ahead. 0.1 seconds up by sector 2. As it stands, he should get out of the bottom 5 if he carries on with this pace. Rabico stays out of the way. Hamster doesn't need telling twice here. He's got another shot at it if he needs to. He's coming around the last turn now. DRS open. Onto the pit straight. Hamster posts a 122.7 and he goes 12th with that. That won't guarantee him safety, but it's giving him a chance now. Harry pushed back into the drop zone by sector 2 though. He's only a couple of hundredths up. That's Calvin in front. Harry's going to go into the wall, I think. Yes, he's out of qualifying now. There was a Red Bull ahead of him, which may have put him off. Calvin was, in fact, on an outlap, so Calvin may well be under investigation by the stewards for holding up Harry or impeding him whilst Harry was on his flying lap. There is Gray in the Aston Martin, the sole surviving Aston Martin now. He's in the drop zone as well. He needs an improvement. He's a 10.5 up by sector 2. Catches the car on the exit turn 12. As it stands, Gray is on course to get out of the bottom 5. There is an AlphaTauri ahead of him. That is Synix, who is 11th on a 122.6. Gray boots the car out of the last turn. He goes over the line to post a 122.9, goes 15th, and he's out of the bottom 5. Hartnell dropped into there, so we'll only lose 5 drivers at the end of this session. Calvin's on a lap. Red Dog is on a lap. Scotty is on a lap. Scotty by sector 2, 3 tenths up by that stage, but he runs wide. That'll cost him time on the exit. The checker flag is out, so anyone on a fast lap can complete it. Scotty, 13th. He seems to have lost connection with the screen. or what we should be seeing on circuit. But we'll stay with the action for now, as Calvin goes third on a 1:21.9. And there's Gray, who is on another fast lap. And that pushes Martin into the drop zone, thanks to Calvin's lap. So Martin is out of qualifying, unfortunately. Gray, meanwhile, crosses over the line. Does he improve? He does. He goes 13th. So Red Dog is eliminated at the end of Q1. So the 5 drivers we lose at the end of the first part of qualifying, they are Red Dog, Martin, Jay Hartnell, Harry, and Flicks. The top 15 go through to Q2. And on that note, we'll bring the broadcast to a temporary halt and we'll open up a new one. So do please tune into the new stream and we'll be back in a moment for Q2.